Hi, my name is Shelly, and I'm a knitter. I really love watching YouTube channels about knitting. I love knitting while I'm watching podcasts and people that talks about their knitting. So I I used to have a podcast in Hebrew. I still do. Sometimes I do podcast in Hebrew, but I've decided to do one in English. I was really inspired by Sarah from It's a Sarah from Holland, from the Netherlands. She started to do her YouTube channel in English, and her English wasn't that fluent, and also my English is not that fluent, but she got better, and I think maybe my English also will get better from talking about my knitting. So it's like two birds with one stone. This is the saying we say in Hebrew. I don't know how you say it in English. I've been knitting. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I live in Israel. I was born here. My native tongue is Hebrew. I learned my English from school and from watching a lot of television in English as I was growing up. Little House in the Prairie was my favorite, and I learned a lot of English from that. And I started knitting when I was a little girl. My mother taught me. She taught me combination knitting, which is very popular in Israel. It comes from Eastern Europe. It's where you purl your pearl by taking the pearl by taking the yarn from under, and then knitting. When you turn your work, the knit stitch is sitting as if it is twisted, so you knit it from the back. And this is how I was taught. And but I didn't knit for a lot of years, and then my children grew up and I came back to knitting, and I started to knit the combination way, and then there was a lot of YouTube and patterns, and something didn't click. I understood that I do something not necessarily wrong, but different. So I tried to research and understand, and then I realized my way of knitting is a little bit different. So I changed the way I knit. As of now, I knit regular. Sometimes I do go back to combination in order to perfect my stitches, especially in ribbing, and sometimes even in lace, where you need to do a yarn over. Sometimes the hole that you create with the yarn over in lace could be a little bit too big. So when you do the combination way, sometimes it gets better. So I've been knitting for really for a lot. For at least like 5 years during the during COVID, I really got into it. Really started to knit almost every day, and now I'm going to show you some whips. And I wanted to start with something that I finished lately, not so lately, but a couple of months ago. I finished a sweater. I have a lot of sweater that I finished, and I will try to show you them during the next podcast, if they will come. But as of now, I'll show you my latest sweater that I finished. It is called, let me show you in here. It is called found it. It is called the lLunenburg Pullover by Savory Knitting. I really like the color work and the colors. The color works also have some purling in it. So I wanted to try and use the same colors. The yarn that they are suggesting is, I hope I don't butcher it, Lichen and Lace Rustic Sport. It's a Canadian wool. I don't have access to this yarn, so I've used a raw felted tweed, and I try to choose colors that are most similar to this, and this is my sweater. The main color is blue, and then the color work. I hope you can see that there are some pearls in it. It's a beautiful sweater. I'll try to insert a picture of me wearing it. If not, do excuse me my abilities in לערוך, how do you say it, my abilities in not composing, editing. My ability in editing is not so good, so I hope I can insert a picture of me wearing it. So this is it, my lLunenburg sweater. It's a lLunenburg pullover. I won't wear it because as of today in Israel, it is hot. Spring had sprung, you say, and it's already above 20, 25, 26, and we are only at the beginning of April, the middle of April, so very sunny. I will try to show you what I can see from my own window. So you can see it is, I live in an apartment building. The skies are blue, the trees are green, and the temperature, where are we? Sorry about the earthquake. And the temperature is quite high, so I'm not wearing my sweater. Okay, so let's go over to my whips. And I have a lot of whips. Once I used to be a monogamous knitter, but as of late, so 3 years, I've been knitting a lot of things. Some of them I excuse them as blankets, even though they are not. They are very big shawls that I say it's a year-long project. So let's start by showing you a blanket that I'm working on. I have it in this beautiful mood bag that I got as a gift from Lisa Knitting. I don't know how you say it in how to translate her name. She has a shop and a workshop in Israel, and she gave me this beautiful bag by Mood. And I have my blanket here. It's a blanket by the Bakery Bear podcast by Kay Jonas. It is called My Favorite Blanket. She's doing a year-long knit-along for this blanket. If you can follow her podcast, and there she gives all the instructions for it. It's quite simple. You're using 2 fingering yarns together. She's using every time 50-gram yarns that she's dyeing herself. I'm using scraps that I found. My main color, my main fingering yarn is this cone from Whole Scran. It's Coast. It's 55% wool and 45% boomwool, which I think is cotton. The color. And then I knit it together with all kind of scraps that I have from knitting socks, which I do love. And this is what I have so long. This is what I did for now. I don't know how to say, I'm sorry. You start here. It is all garter, and you can see the modeling of the two colors, and I change the colors as I go on. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I do believe that sometime I will get to the right length, and then it will start to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And here I have all the colors that I have from previous projects. And I have this, and also this one. I do try to match them, but I also have things that I still haven't used, and some, maybe I will, like this yellow. This is Cascade 400, I think you call it. I also have this green. And I even have this lovely yarn bee colors that I got from Holy Lobby maybe 2 years ago, and I haven't used yet. Beautiful colors that I do think will go very nicely with this palette of colors. So I'm working it. It is a year-long project. I go to it sometimes between projects, and sits here in this beautiful bag and waits for me from time to time. I do go for it and do a couple of rows, but it is a blanket. I don't pressure myself to finish it, and I know that some of you even knit blankets for years, so I feel very good about it. My next project is a shawl that I saw. It's a new shawl by, let me show you. It's a shawl by, wait a minute. It's a shawl by, I'm butchering this one also, Isang Knits. It's called Smilga, I think. Smilga shawl. Just look how beautiful this is. It's got bubbles. The minute it came out, I wanted to knit this, so I bought the pattern, and I had some yarn from a project that I did not finish, and I decided to rip. And I got really far. I really wanted to get to the bubbles. If you can see, there are these bubbles that you do with intarsia, and I really wanted to get there. So I knitted it up really, really fast. And when I got to the bubbles, I got stuck. It didn't work out for me. This is what I got so far. I'm using Drops Lima in the color, sorry about the crickling, in color number 9018. It's like green gray color. The pattern is beautiful, very well written. And in here I needed to insert the bubbles with intarsia. I did try it and they came out terrible. I didn't like it, and I tried again and again, and then I ripped it off and I tried again. I really didn't like it, and then I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it without the bubbles. I have, I think, another like this to go, and it's very big. My needles are not enough for it. My cord is not enough. But it comes out beautiful, and it is warm. It will be for the next season. So it is sitting a little bit on the side, waiting for me to come back to it. And I will finish it. It's a shawl, so that means it's a blanket. Then it's a year-long project. No need to rush it. Easy does it. Easy does it? Yes. And my next project is also a shawl. That is a year-long project. It's a project, but it is a second time project for me. I did it once and I'm going to do it again. Let me show you my first one. First of all, this is the project. It is called Big Star Shawl. It's a beautiful shawl. It's by Julia Billings. I like a big shawl that can hug you in the winter. You can walk with it as if you're walking with a blanket. And I did made one from Haul Super Soft Cran in blue. This is my finished project that I've done. And it's really beautiful. In the winter I wear it quite a lot, but it is, as you can see, it's a little bit of sheer. It's not that warm and it's not that soft. It's Haul Super Soft, but Haul Super Soft has a beautiful name which does not stand to its values. It's not really soft, but it's beautiful. So I wanted to make another one even bigger, so I'm using 2 strands this time, and I'm using 2 combs that I have. One is the Cost from Holst Yarn, this color, and the second one is from British Wool Comb, and it's green. So I'm modeling these two together. And what I'm getting is this much bigger shawl. And the modeling gives it, I think, a lot of depth. I've started the lace. don't know if you can see that it's green and blue at the same time. I have a lot to go. Also, this is year-long project. It's gonna be like a blanket in winter. So I also come back to it from time to time. For this, I'm using a bigger needle than I did for the first one. I'm using a 5mm hook. So this is another project. Okay, next I have one sweater, one cardigan, and socks. So let's do the socks first. The socks, I'm making a vanilla sock pattern, but with a sock set with different colors that I got from an Israeli dyer. Her name is Adi. Her brand name is Adi Loops. Oh, there we go. And she made a set of really springy colors. We have this beautiful pink and this green. They are all fingering superwash 75-25 sock yarn. Another like a neon-y, and also a lighter pink. Ooh. Is there another one? Another one? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there is another one. Yes, there is this one that has all of them together, I think. Let me try and hold them all together. And I'm also using a contrast for heels, for toes, heel, and cuff. Just an opal cream one. I already made one sock. Yesterday I finished it. And I'm striping it. Started from the toes with, how you call it, a Turkish cast on. And then I made a cheddar wrap heel. Just finished with a 2x2 rib. And it's a beautiful sock. I made it a little bit shorter on the leg because it is a summer sock. Just need to do the second one. And I'm holding it all. I'm using a 225mm hook, a Chiago one. And I'm holding it all in a bag that I made myself. Also have, it's the only bag I made. I don't have a shop, I'm not selling anything. Just showing you my craftsmanship in knitting. And I have two sikot, how you say, pins. 2 pins that I got when I was in I went to visit a friend I have in Connecticut for like a week, and we went for New England Ship and Wool Festival, something like that. It's not the big one, it's not the rainback one, it is in Massachusetts, I think. Yes, near Springfield somewhere. And I met Kim and Jana, and also from Kim and Jana podcast, and also I met the Knitting Posse from the Knitting Posse podcast, and also I met Kevin and Ray from how they call themselves, Needles at the Ready podcast. So I got 2 pins from Needles at the Ready and from Kim and Jana. So I put them here. So this is my sock whip. And now I have a sweater and a cardigan. My sweater is almost finished. I am knitting it's a beautiful sweater. I'm using yarn that I got also in that festival, the New England Sheep and Wool. It's a blend of 50% silk, 50% wool by Jagerson. Let me see if I have this one. I'm using this wool. It is 50% silk, 50% wool blend. It's like a light gray color. And I'm knitting, wait a minute. I'm knitting I'm knitting the Lenu sweater by Anke Strick. Look at this one. It's beautiful. She's using 2 strands. One is mohair and it's with a 4mm needle, 19 stitch gauge for 10 centimeters. So I got this gauge with this yarn that I showed you, and I'm almost finished. Look at that! I almost have a sweater. I've got one sleeve already done. All the pattern, all the body. Look at the back. I hope you can see because I see absolutely nothing. It's not blocked yet. And something nice about it is that she calls for a she says it's a tubular bind off, but it's a sewing or Italian bind off. But the cuff is twisted. So when you do an Italian bind off on a twisted rib, if you do it the traditional way, the last round won't be twisted. So I looked up and I found a tutorial in YouTube. My eye is twitching. Some nerves. Why is my eye twitching? Shh. Well, I found a tutorial I'm sorry about my eye. I don't know if you can see it, but it is twitching. I found a tutorial on how to do the Italian bind off with the twisted rib, and it looks beautiful. Look at that. I don't know if you can see. I really like it. I think it came out nice. So this is my Lenu, almost finished. It has a really interesting construction of the shoulder. It's like how you say, a saddle shoulder, but it is also a raglan. Beautiful sweater. I can't wait to wear it. Well, probably next year. Almost finished. And the last project that I have is a beautiful, beautiful cardigan. Also, wait a minute till I find it. There it is. the cardigan that I'm working on is the Cardi Cocoon by Anne Wenzel, Danish, I think she's Danish. Look at that. I'll try and show you another picture where she wears it. It's very, very big. Another picture. Look at how big it is. And it has a very, very interesting construction also, and a pattern all over pattern that she also gives you. It's like a cable pattern, but you do not need to use a cable needle for it. It's very small, and she shows you a way how to do it without a cable knitting, without even rearranging the stitches on your needle. She has a tutorial, and she calls, again, it's a fingering and a mohair. It's very big, it's an investment, so I've decided to try and use a really, really simple acrylic yarn. I'll bring the yarn just a minute. I'm back. So I'm using really, really simple acrylic yarn that have really, really small amounts of mohair and wool. Most of it is acrylic. It is 5%. Let me show you first the yarn. It's Naku. They call it Angora Lux. You can see the mohair in it. It has 5% mohair, 15% wool, I think wool, yes, and 80% premium acrylic. And she's done her in like gray, but if you look really, really close, I don't know, you cannot see it in the picture, but if you look really, really close on it, it has like depth, because the mohair she's using is a little bit lighter than the wool she's using, so you have more depth to it. I wanted to do it in this color, this mint sage green, but I wanted it to have the depth because this is very flat. So I've put it together with the white, and together I get gauge, and I think I have really nice definition of the fabric. This is what I have so far. It is worked on 4.5 millimeters needles. I'm in the middle of a row, of course. But you can see, I don't know if you can see the two colors, how they are working together. I'll show you in the back. It's two colors, the green and the white, and together they do deliver a depth to the work. You can see the mohair. It's got the same feel of the mohair, very soft, but I do have a long way to go, and I love it. Really, really meditative. The stitch is very meditative. You do work back and forth, and I do use some of my combination techniques in order to make it easier on the purl rows, and I rearrange my knit rows according to the combination that I did on the purl. I hope that makes sense to you somehow. And that's it. That's all my whips for now. I do hope you understood my English, and I do hope to get better in time. And next time maybe I'll also sit with you a little bit and knit a little bit with you. But I'm gonna keep it for now. I think 30 minutes is quite enough. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll try to put some images at the end to make it, to see where I live, what I do. I'll try. I don't promise. So goodbye till next time. Bye bye.